tuning in to the online broadcast network, AFTERBUZZ TV. Over 20 million weekly downloads in over 150 countries, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment. AFTERBUZZ TV, the destination for TV superfans. Producing aftershows for over 300 of your favorite TV shows, interviewing celebrities and showrunners, and bringing you behind-the-scenes exclusives. All thanks to E! Entertainment's Maria Menounos, producer Kevin Undergaro, and internet leader Akamai. Now, let the buzz begin!
Yeah, I'm actually really surprised that this was the song they chose to use this episode.
I completely agree. In fact, in my brain, it was Take the Money and Run
by Steve Miller Band.
Yeah,
right?
and I almost told Steven, incidentally, who's our engineer, to play that song because my brain was so convinced.
And, well, there's a good reason for that.
Yeah, totally.
We will get to that. Hello, AfterBuzz fans. I don't know what that voice was. Grandmaster. Hello, AfterBuzz fans. And welcome to another episode of the AfterBuzz TV Guardians of the Galaxy After Show. I cannot do that the whole show, and I don't plan on it. We are covering Episode 4, Take the Milano and Run, which is why we thought it was Take the Money and Run, and still kind of do. And with me is the wonderful Emma Fyffe.
Hello, you can follow me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe. It's my name, EMMAFYFFE. The last name is all F's as in Fred, no S's as in Snake. They sound the same on the phone or when you record them.
You require like 30 seconds of explanation.
Yeah, you know,
I love it.
It's a complicated name, 60% F's, so...
And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. We are also checking the hashtag, which is ABTVGOTG. And we are looking at the live chat as well tonight.
Yes,
do we have that actually working?
Yeah, I've got the live chat rocking and rolling here.
Brilliant.
Just
Hello, live chat people.
Yep.
So let's kill the music and let's get into the episode.
I know. I love that we're still just like grooving to the music here.
And Alexis could not join us tonight. Her Twitter is atorres890. Please tweet her your well wishes. She is a lovely human being, and you should all tell her that.
Yes. Always, every moment of the day, just anytime you randomly are thinking, man, what should I be doing with my life right now? Tweet at Alexis and tell her how much you love her.
She is a good person and people say nice things about her, so y'all better start. So what did you think of this episode?
You know, I have to say, I think this has been my favorite episode so far.
Yeah?
Because the first half of the episode, not that much happened, and I loved that because too much has been happening in every second of every moment of this show.
That's true. I don't know. The first half of the episode, I was like, okay, this is oh my god, that got real. I was not expecting this show to ever get real.
Yeah.
And then it got real.
It did. It got real towards the end there.
That was, and even Gamora realized that was a mistake.
She sure did.
Like, let's just sit on his hot button, shall we?
Oh, I know.
Yeah. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about what I saw as our A plot and what you thought was our B plot.
I thought of it as
the plot.
Yeah, the plot. This actually is, to me, I thought where the A and the B plots converged. So, but I see your point of this being sort of the A storyline, because basically it starts with when they confront the Grandmaster. The Grandmaster really, really, really wants Drax and Gamora to fight.
Well, it starts even before that. Yeah. They've got this weird rivalry thing going on that starts with using Groot as target practice. Which is a little weird.
Yeah, and she says not everything has to be a competition, and he's like, oh, you only say that when you lose. Yeah, it was an interesting episode that I now, the more I think about it, the more I agree with you that, like, the main point of this episode was this rivalry going on between Drax and Gamora, which was, of course, also being bolstered by the fact that the Grandmaster of Conjunction, which is basically Las Vegas.
Conjunction Junction, what's your function? Nothing leaves here.
Yeah, he really, really wanted them to fight because they're these two well-known warriors. They're super powerful, and he just wants them to battle for his entertainment. Now, I'm kind of a sucker for the heroes have to enter a fighting competition trope.
Yeah, I kind of love it.
I love that.
We were raised on shonen anime.
I
mean, come on. The fighting tournament is the staple of a shonen anime. So every time it's like, there's a tournament coming up, I'm like, oh, tell me more.
Yeah, I was going to say, and that turns
Ruby Volume 3 is coming up, and it's like, look at this tournament, and I'm like, yes.
But it turns up a lot in JRPGs as well, which I played a lot of as a child. Yeah, so I love this kind of storyline, and yeah, so it was about this rivalry between Drax and Gamora,
and it's mostly Drax saying it's not a competition, and Gamora saying when you're raised by Thanos, everything's a competition, and if you lose, you die. And I'm like, is this the Game of Thrones? I think I've seen that tagline somewhere.
It totally is.
We have I'm sure it's not a Game of Thrones reference, but let's face it, it's a Game of Thrones reference.
Yeah.
We have the continual Las Vegas references. What happens in conjunction stays in conjunction. And then we have Thunderdrome. Because that's what it is at the end.
It was great.
Just 2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Yeah, it was great. I loved it.
Totally ridiculous. Rocket drove me crazy. Not gonna lie, because part of it was, okay, we dealt with a lot of this last episode. Have you learned nothing? And I get the feeling we're gonna have a lot of have you learned nothing for the sake of having comedy.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you on that, because there is something that I think happens more in shows that are intended for children, where you have much more static characters, and it seems to me that Rocket is going to be that. That being said, I didn't find him as irritating in this episode as I did in the last episode.
Well, last episode they really cranked it up to make a point.
Yeah.
So it wasn't this bad, but it's also like, why do you think it's your ship?
Yeah.
Maritime salvage laws do not apply.
No, totally.
It's still working.
Well, and the other thing that I actually kind of enjoyed about Rocket in this episode was the sort of C storyline, I'll call it, where he was acting as Drax's manager in the arena. That was funny, and to me that was really believable as something that the character of Rocket would do.
I loved that crazy manipulative little robot. It's like GLaDOS on a stick telling him, but we could do double or nothing.
That
unless you're afraid. Like, holy cow, who programmed this thing?
And I was like, of course Rocket's gonna go for the trade. And that didn't really bother me so much. I get what you're saying, that he didn't really learn anything from the last episode, and he's still just constantly butting heads with Star-Lord. But he did have a moment in the end of the episode where they were talking about customizable seats, and ultimately he got one on the Milano. And so I feel like that, everybody gave a little bit.
We're family, but we are headbutting like mad.
Yeah.
And that is going to be a thing.
Yeah.
And we also have the introduction of a Nova Corpsman, Corman Titus. I can't look at that without going, Titus, right? This isn't Final Fantasy X.
No.
Yeah. And he's essentially a large bipedal white tiger with a cybernetic eye.
Yeah.
And he's kind of Javert.
A little bit.
He's a little bit. It's a little Javert and a little bit Sylvester Stallone. I am the law.
Yeah, I definitely saw him as a Javert type figure. I just wanted him to break out into a duet.
Well, and he did. Star-Lord actually brought up things that happened in the movie. Yeah, were this people, we saved your home planet. We had expunged criminal records. And it's like, yeah, I know your type. Once a criminal, always a criminal.
Yeah.
Handcuff time.
I have a question, though, because he turned up to the club where Star-Lord and Gamora were trying to get the Pandorian crystal from Lunatic, which, by the way, I love.
He spells it with a K.
Yes,
it's all right.
That was exactly what I was going to bring up. But when he shows up to this, is there another level of this club, or are there just no people there? Because this club was empty, despite the fact that it was like full-on light show and dubstep happening.
Well, it was empty by the time that fight broke out, because if you notice, there was table flipping and lasers and all sorts of crazy stuff going on. So I would imagine that most people went, no, I came here for a drink, and I'm going to go call the police. And the police is evidently I feel like Titus is either dropping in or he's assigned to this miserable planet by the Nova Corps, and he is just not happy about it.
I feel like it's the latter. I feel like he's just like a conjunction.
This is his beat, and he hates it.
Yeah.
Because they've got the whole what happens in Vegas thing going on.
Totally.
And that is the worst thing if you're law enforcement, because that's the sort of thing that lets people think that they can get away with anything.
Yeah. Yep. Renji 998 in the chat says Gamora should learn the Earth phrase, don't poke the bear. Literally. That's good. That's really good. Oh, and Titus was in the Spectacular Spider-Man, but is a bad guy who betrayed the Nova Corps.
Huh.
Good to know.
So here's
That's
a fun
also
question.
from our good friend Renji.
All right, well, Renji, here's a question. Was that particular bit of canon with the betraying the Nova Corps specific to Spectacular Spider-Man, or did that pull from the comics? Because if it pulled from the comics, we might see it, because this is a slightly more comic-based show.
Yeah, it might come back in. Yeah.
That I just feel really bad for him, though. He's trying so hard to do his job.
I know.
And I know we're not supposed to like him because he goes against our plucky half-outlaw, half-hero heroes, but I just feel bad for him.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is that I feel like as an adult, you can see his perspective a little bit better than if you are a child.
Yeah, if you're a child, it's just like, no, don't arrest Star-Lord. And if you're an adult, it's like,
well, Star-Lord's done some stuff that he should get arrested for.
Even just, crashing the ship, which, okay, having seen it go down, we understand that the ship is in bad condition, this and that and the other. Maybe he needs a tow more than he needs to be arrested. It would be like being arrested because your brakes went out.
Totally.
And things happen, which, God forbid.
Right.
But nonetheless.
Yeah.
So he is very much a Javert. He is very much the law. And, of course, the Grandmaster is his exact opposite. Because the Grandmaster evidently runs Planet Vegas. Conjunction? I can't call it conjunction without thinking of
Planet Vegas.
Rock. Planet Vegas.
I like Planet Vegas. I think that he was sort of an overlord, or at least he was like a guy that owns a bunch of casinos, maybe. You know how there's like individual owners and corporations that own certain casinos in Las Vegas? I feel like that's what he was. Also, for some reason, this show has this predisposition towards slightly effeminate male antagonists with crazy white hair.
And capes.
Yes, and capes.
Capes or flowy coats or whatever. And it's like, okay, if we have one of those next episode, we're going 3 for 3.
Yeah.
We haven't had, have we had any actual straight up alien baddies?
No, they've all been largely humanoid,
Yeah, we had Bing Bang Boom, but he was more of
an accessory. Device. Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
So I would like to see a straight-up alien baddie.
Yeah.
And as far as I'm concerned, Lunatic and Girlfriend, whose name I never caught.
Girlfriend. I just know that she's an Askavarian.
And so the joke's about he wasn't kidding about dating an Askavarian, and he's braver than I thought.
Yeah.
Are they completely incompatible?
Yeah, I
liked
Drax's reaction that he is braver than I thought. That was great.
I have to go with my favorite Drax line, and I would if my iPad would stop trying to pull up AirPlay. Good Lord, where is it? I thought it was Rocket, but I do not resemble Rocket.
Yes,
like,
I love that. I loved that. I wrote that down too. Yeah.
Because what is sarcasm? We just don't know.
No. Yeah, and Gamora's reaction, sarcasm, you should look into it.
He's never going to get it.
No.
And that's going to be a constant source of humor, and I much prefer that as a source of humor than as, it's my ship. No, it's my ship. No, it's my ship.
Yeah, I agree. And I thought that this was a nice episode for Drax overall, because he got a lot of humorous moments, and then it got like real in the end of the episode.
Rocket strong-armed him back into the arena, and he basically becomes a luchador with this mask, which is hysterical.
I loved the mask.
Remind me who played him in the movie. I'm missing the name.
Dave Bautista.
He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
Yeah, so just like, let's throw back to that, because that is a thing of wonder and beauty.
Yep.
And him having a grand old time. I've forgotten how much fun it was to fight in the arena. This is great.
Yeah, totally. This is in regards to the question we asked earlier regarding Spider-Man. Apparently it was not in Spectacular Spider-Man, it was in Ultimate Spider-Man. It was in season 2, and the Guardians were in that episode, but their design was different. So they were more drawn in the style of Ultimate Spider-Man.
But I'm wondering if that particular bit of backstory happened in the Guardians of the Galaxy or the Nova Corps comics. Because again, that's what we seem to pull from.
And in regards to my comment on the appearance of the villains, Mr. D Style 09 says RuPaul would fit perfectly into this universe. No. Yes, I just want an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race where they make new villains for Guardians of the Galaxy on Disney XD. Sign me up. Please have me as a guest judge. It would be a dream come true.
What audience are you trying to appeal to with it? Because the kids aren't going to watch it, but the adults aren't going to watch it.
Listen. Apparently, this show pulls in an average of 4.4 million unique views.
Dang.
Only about 1.9 million of which are actual children.
Well, of course, it airs at 9:30 p.m. and it's based on Guardians of the Galaxy. You've got us nerds looking at it.
I know, it's so true.
that is a given. So this whole tournament thing was partially Rocket playing manager, which was hysterical.
I loved that storyline.
And Groot directing the little robots to do repairs on the Milano, and it looking like an entirely different ship.
Yeah, dude. So got some serious upgrades. Super nice. Yeah, it was nice.
And then we have, well, your ship is fully repaired. We're prepared to offer you this other ship. And if you win, you get the ship. But if you lose, we take your ship. And Rocket's like, sure. And I'm sitting here going, and Rocket! 3, 2, 1.
And of course, who is Drax gonna fight in this final fight but Gamora?
How did she get pulled into this?
It was because it was because they were in the bar, they were having the fight, and basically Lunatic with a K said to them, if you do one thing for me, favor for me, then you can have the Pandorian crystal, which I gave to my main girl. Main girl is not so happy about it because she and Star-Lord used to date.
And evidently he never called her.
It did not end well. It did not end well.
Gentlemen, if you're going to call. Even if the call is,
hey, I don't ever want to see you again. Yeah,
at least call, because if you leave someone hanging, that's worse.
Yep.
Just put a bookend on it.
Yes.
Dating advice from Guardians of the Galaxy. I feel like that's the last thing you want from this show.
Yeah. Well, and there was one moment I sort of had a problem with.
Let's hear it.
It was when they were all fighting in the bar. And Quill was fighting Lunatic, and Gamora was fighting Ascavarian crazy ex-girlfriend. And
I would watch that TV program.
Ascavarian crazy ex-girlfriend? That'd be great. Let's pitch it. Forget crazy ex-girlfriend, guys. But anyway, so when they were fighting in the bar, it ended up that Quill and Lunatic just stopped fighting and watched the two girls fight each other.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It was played for laughs, but it's also very much... It's indicative of our culture, and that's a problem.
I agree. I thought that was a little problematic, even though this was by no means a cat fight. I mean, these two girls were, like, really battling. I also feel like if everyone's going to go, the character defense, Quill would be the first to try to talk himself out of a battle he couldn't win. I get it. Right.
Why couldn't we devote 30 seconds of screen time to show that?
Well, and again, ultimately, it resulted in Quill going pretty impressive, right? Like his comment was respectful, but
voyeuristic. You could see it either way.
Yeah.
Because it's like, pretty impressive and pretty impressive. Like, okay.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
That is a problem. That's problems in media, you guys. Yeah. Women are not things.
Yeah, that's the thing is I felt like because they were specifically being gawked at by two male characters, it was a little objectifying.
And that one of them had dated them both?
Yeah.
No problem.
Yeah,
no problem.
I had a problem with it.
Indicative of a larger problem, but, a little problem. Then again, this is based on the movie that gave us the Jackson Pollock joke. Again, not an excuse. Just, why?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
You're teaching kids bad things.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest problem with it, is this is a kid show. Or theoretically, it's a kid show.
It's aimed at a younger audience, but it's grabbing a lot of the older ones. But the younger ones are going to be like, yay, watching girls fight, that's funny.
And, yeah.
problems. Right.
Yeah, I mean, and overall, Gamora still got to do a lot in this episode.
Oh, yeah.
It was so focused around her, and she totally kicked butt, but I just didn't like that one thing.
No. Well, let's talk about the fight in the arena.
Yeah, man.
Because it turns into, oh, you're going to fight Gamora, and Drax goes, nope, I forfeit. Well, congrats, your ship is ours, but you're still going to fight. And they put the Grandmaster puts this little force field over, again, the Thunderdrome and goes, you two are going to fight to the death, or everyone else here is going to be vaporized. Have fun! Just like, really?
Yeah, that's a legit twist we see in a lot of shonen anime. And battle arena scenes.
And I love that Quill pointed out that if you kill your customers, doesn't that cut into your profits? Yeah, there will always be more customers.
Isn't vaporizing...
Not with a Yelp review like that.
No, isn't vaporizing your customers going to eat into your repeat business? Is what he said. He's like, don't worry, there's more people. And hey, I mean, to be fair, all of those people would be dead. They couldn't write a Yelp review.
They wouldn't have time to leave a Yelp review. They're just sitting there. There's a force field. Pretty sure I'm gonna die. 1 star. I give it 0 stars if I could,
but amazing. Hopefully they hit send before.
Space Yelp. just space Yelp. Everyone like vining and Snapchatting.
Yeah.
Guys.
Yeah.
This sure is 10 seconds of my last will and testament.
But yeah, so basically it boils down to they're like, okay, Drax, Gamora, you guys are gonna fight. You have to fight. Drax still really doesn't want to fight, so he kind of it's like stage combat. You know, they like pretend fight.
Yeah, they essentially have to sell that they're fighting while the other 3 run off, get the ship, disable this force field, do all the behind the scenes work.
Exactly,
because Grandmaster doesn't really care about them. And we had this wonderful introduction scene where he's like, I've heard of you, I've heard of you, I've heard of you too.
Oh,
and
that was
looks at smudge writing on hand, landlord. It was definitely a looks at smudge writing on hand meme.
That was so good.
It was wonderful.
And when he just sort of blank stares and looks at him like, who is this guy?
you got a person. Is it your pet?
Yeah.
So he's obviously not interested and lets those 3 just kind of run out of the arena unchecked. And they tunnel because Groot is the world's best Omni-tool.
Yep.
Get to the ship, find out where it is, find out where the dome's coming from, blow that up, all that fun stuff. And that's kind of our B plot at this point because the A is definitely watching this fight go
I was going to
down.
say that definitely becomes the B plot at that point is reacquiring the ship.
Yeah.
We're still sort of following Rocket in that storyline,
And the fight about it's my ship and this and that, you shouldn't have gambled it, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Continuing the argument. But in the arena, we have to actually go for it. We have to make it look good. He'll know that we're faking it. And Drax going, I don't want to fight you. And I wrote these lines down. Gamora getting in his face and saying, I'm Thanos' daughter. I worked for Ronan. Tell me you never wondered if I had something to do with the destruction of your family. Let's just mash that hot button, shall we?
Maybe not the best tactic.
Dang! 'Cause he goes a little berserk on her, and she has this moment of, that was a bad idea.
Yep. Shouldn't have said that.
Like, that worked.
Yeah. I was like, can't really backpedal now. I'm just going to have to fight.
Honey, no.
Yeah, that was not a good choice. Not a great choice.
As much as I loved that, and as much as that was things got really real there.
Yeah.
This series has not been very good at things getting real, but that was real.
Yeah.
They didn't bring it up again.
I know.
We fell back on the, I would have won in that fight. No, I would have won in that fight. It's not a competition.
Yeah,
you say that when you lose.
It would have been
can we address the fact that she said that and that it's a possibility?
It would have been a much nicer resolution if at the end of the episode, Drax would have confronted Gamora about it. Not in a competitive way, but just in a, did you really have nothing to do with the destruction of my family? You know what I mean?
Or her coming up to him and saying, I'm sorry, you know, I didn't have anything to do with that. I said that to get a reaction out of you. It was incredibly wrong of me, and I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Because we really need for both of them to recognize that you don't go there with people, that was wrong.
I agree. And the other thing is, too, that also would have lended itself to lent itself. I don't think lended is a word. Please look it up in a dictionary and tell me. But that would have been a nice opportunity for Gamora and Drax to sort of bond over something. And Gamora being like, no, I really didn't have anything to do with it. I'm sorry, I shouldn't have said that. And I will help you get revenge because Thanos has been really awful to me too.
Yeah.
It was a real missed opportunity.
It was a really great one, but it didn't have the two to follow it up.
That's exactly what it is. Yeah, it was nice to see them go there.
Yeah. This is not a kid's show.
Yeah, and
it thinks it's a kid's show sometimes, which is essentially where Rocket comes in. But they deal with something, and it was a little heavy-handed when we had the flashbacks to Quill's mom.
Yeah.
But this was extremely real, and at least for that part, very well done.
It was very well done.
They stumbled on the follow-up.
Yeah, I mean, I still overall feel that this is the strongest script that they've had yet because they were kind of following an A and B storyline that ultimately converged and then the B kind of branched off. But and in previous episodes, it's kind of been like, we have one story with 9,000 components that we're just going to try to shove into 23 minutes of episode.
God help us all.
Yeah. Whereas in this one, I felt that we were following different storylines and it did have nice moments to breathe. And Drax got to have some nice humor and we got a little insight into his character. And it was fun to see him really enjoying fighting in the arena. But still, there was a real missed opportunity at the ending there.
Yeah. Just then again, flip side is I'm waiting for that to come back up. I'm waiting for someone who is not Gamora to bring it up to Drax. Someone who has the ability to do some damage with that.
Yep.
Because she brought it up and then we didn't have resolution.
Yeah.
And I'm still functioning on like Robots in Disguise and Transformers Prime level of they're going to bring it back.
Right.
Not every animated series does that. And I need to come to terms.
Yeah.
So I have hope, but not expectations.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I agree with that completely.
And then we end with, did the Grandmaster get beat up or arrested or both? Because I know Titus showed up and went, this isn't staying on conjunction.
Well, because, I liked that line. Yeah, because he ended up on the floor of the arena, and then everybody who he was going to vaporize, who were previously running amok, and it's amazing that nobody got trampled to death,
got super angry at him.
Yeah.
For, good reasons.
Yep, I'd be pretty mad, too.
So we have the crystal, and we have a fully repaired ship, and Rocket has a seat that fits him, and we kind of have an understanding between friends/friendly rivals with no resolution.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah,
like 85% of the way there.
What did happen to the Grandmaster?
I'm fairly certain with the that's not staying on conjunction line, he probably got arrested.
Yeah, and sent off to some other prison planet.
Property damage, a ton of attempted murder.
Yeah.
You know, fun stuff.
He racked up a hefty list of crimes.
And I'm sure
episode.
this is not his first time. This is probably just the first time that it hasn't gone according to his
No, definitely
plan.
not. And that's another thing, actually, that I really liked about this episode was I thought they did a really good job of portraying how seedy the characters in this universe are. That I really enjoyed.
We're running in a lot of slums and underbellies.
Yeah, I think that's it, is that there was some nice sort of world building in this episode and sort of establishing the tone of the universe in which this story exists, which I really liked.
Yeah. You have any final thoughts on the episode?
Just one of my favorite, I basically was just writing down quotes the whole time. One towards the end during the plot line where Quill and Rocket were going to get the Milano back. Star-Lord says to Rocket, what's that little gizmo that looks like a bomb counting down? And Rocket's response is, that would be a bomb counting down.
Yes. She's like, yeah, that their relationship is kind of on this level.
Yeah.
And Gamora and Drax is kind of on this level, and Groot is just Groot.
Groot's just Groot. He's hanging out.
He's target practice. I feel so bad for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm hoping that we get an episode soon that's more focused on Groot as a character.
You read the wiki, didn't you?
I did, yeah.
Yeah,
sure
next episode we get some Groot. So, does the chat have anything fun to say?
They said, back to Titus in the Nova comics. Oh, it's true, in the Nova comics.
So we might see that come down the line.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, thank you for that.
Thank you, Renji 998. And then...
And while chat's talking, we're going to have some news in a little bit. So, ready the sound effects, Captain. But what does chat have to... chat have anything else to say?
I was just going to say, Boo says he might have got arrested or gotten away somehow. I think that's in regards to our good friend, the Grandmaster. Pretty sure he definitely got arrested or trampled and killed.
I don't know if we're going to come back to Conjunction.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not nowhere.
No. Yeah, I feel like Conjunction's definitely a one-off kind of planet.
They might, I would imagine they would mention it at some point.
Sure,
and I'll
yeah,
be
it still exists.
I'll be surprised if it's the last time we see Lunatic, too.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I don't think we're coming back here.
No, not in the immediate future anyhow.
Yeah.
Yep.
So shall we swing into news?
Yes, let's do it.
AfterBuzz TV News.
And that's why we give you warning. So what's our news?
Well, guys, Disney XD announced at New York Comic Con this weekend that it has ordered a second season of the animated series Guardians of the Galaxy, which we're discussing here tonight at AfterBuzz TV.
Yay!
Since debuting on September 26th, that it's held solid ratings, and the second season is set to debut sometime in 2017, which incidentally is the same year that Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 will be released in theaters.
Are we at all surprised? Yeah, give us the one-line synopsis, because that is a good one-line
The
synopsis.
show's second season will see the Guardians of the Galaxy and the Avengers team up to stop evil alien mad scientist, the High Evolutionary.
And I'm sitting here going, which Avengers team is this?
I know.
Because the last one I watched was Earth's Mightiest Heroes,
Right,
and we
right.
had Wasp and Black Panther going on in there, and that was just
Heck
like,
yeah.
sign me up, I want that one.
I love it. Yeah. I'm hoping that we'll see that and continue to bring more awesome lady characters and
Yes,
diverse characters to
please.
the Marvel Universe. Though Guardians of the Galaxy is pretty diverse if you think of each of the alien species as representing a non-white person.
I don't know, we got 3 guys, a woman, and a tree. So...
Yeah.
All right, so I think that's all the news we've got for now.
Yes.
We should probably swing into predictions,
All
such as they are.
And now, your AfterBuzz TV predictions.
Complete with Laser Light Show. So we know next episode's going to be about Groot.
Yes.
Yay.
Yay. Yeah.
Yay.
Since I read the Wikipedia article, I also am hoping that Hooked on a Feeling is going to be the song in the next episode, because it's like, can't fight this seedling.
Yeah, but we also had Take the Milano and Run.
You're
and
right.
we had a
You're
different...
right. We got totally duped this episode.
We did. I would not be surprised that it... I would... Wow. That train of thought just...
Words.
I would not be surprised if all of our song titles were a set of song references and the actual songs in the episodes were completely different. And that's
Sure.
going to throw me off something awful.
It is. I'm going to be confused every single week. Every week, I'm going to expect a different song to play at the top of the episode.
Are we sure it's not Take the Money and Run?
Yeah, it really wasn't.
Are we sure? I wanted some Steve Miller Band up
I was
in
going
here.
to say, my brain made Take the Money and Run happen during the show.
Me too.
When the actual song was playing, when Boys Are Back in Town was playing, my brain was making, and then I was like, wait, no, this is not
the actual
song I think it is.
So we know next episode is about Groot.
Yes.
Overarching, are we still kind of seeing the same, look for crystals, to look for the box, to open the box, to look for the seed, to find the house that Jack built?
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah, I do think so. Though the episode synopsis for next week has me believe that they might sort of take a little bit of a turn
Circumvent.
from it. Yeah, circumvent it just a little bit. Yeah, I think overall, they've got this sort of episodic pattern established of the, seeking crystals to open the box to find the house that Jack built. But I think that there will be some deviations along the way.
Yeah, pit stops.
Yeah.
I think we're still introducing characters that we're going to see. Titus is going to come back.
Titus, I feel like, is for sure going to come back.
I would be surprised if Lunatic did not.
Yeah.
They've made it very clear that the Collector's going to come back as well, and I want Cosmo. I'm going to keep coming back to this until we go back to nowhere and get Cosmo back, because I want Cosmo, you guys. So bad.
I just need him back. Cosmo was everything.
He's a good dog.
Yeah, he was great.
Do you have any other predictions?
No. I feel like the show is still
finding
its footing. I really do.
We've got a second season, so it better have pretty good footing.
I know, right? Yeah. It's still too early for me to figure out where they're going with this plot-wise, other than the house that Jack built. Mm-hmm,
That's what this is going to be now.
Yeah.
Just the house that Jack built. All right, how many times? Take a shot every time Katie says that. Before we sign,
I was just going to say, the Boo in the chat said, did they just pass about Star-Lord being an alien part? They talked about him being an alien in the first episode.
Oh yeah, we've had like 2-3 episodes about that already. So
yes,
that's a thing, and I'm sure that will continue to be a thing. And whether or not we find out who his dad is, question mark.
Yeah,
we'll see.
Yep.
I get the feeling they're going to hold that mystery out as long as they possibly can.
Yeah, I agree. Yep, totally.
Yeah. So before we sign off, I want to talk to you guys a little bit about iTunes. Now that Guardians of the Galaxy has a second season, you're definitely sticking around for that, and we as an after show would like to continue recapping it. So the best way for you guys to support us, if you would like us to continue sticking around and talking about these crazy people on their crazy journey to find the house that best thing you guys can do, head to iTunes, click subscribe, rate us 5 stars because you love us and we love you, right? And write a review. Let our bosses and let our producers know that, hey, we really enjoy this after show and we would like for this after show to continue to be on the air. So if you want to give some feedback, that is the absolute best place to do it. You can also subscribe on SoundCloud. You can subscribe and like the videos and leave comments on YouTube. iTunes is where it's really going to stick, and iTunes is where our producers are going to see it and make notes and go, you continue doing that. That was good. Also, if you leave reviews on iTunes, we will read them off on the show and give you a shout out. So, good way to get your name out there. And for those of you who have already liked and subscribed and done all those wonderful things, thank you. We really, really appreciate it. Cannot tell you how much we love you guys.
You guys are great.
And we adore you.
You're the best. So wonderful. Thank you, everyone, for talking with us. Michael Rafferty, just want to... this is sort of in line with predictions before we wrap it up completely here, says, when do you think we'll see Nova in an episode? I don't know.
Will we see Nova in an episode?
I don't know.
Also a really good question.
Maybe not until the second season.
Or they may use him for something else. Marvel has 3 unannounced movies.
Yeah.
And if one of them's not Black Widow, I'm going to flip some tables. But we have 3 unannounced movies on the schedule, and who knows? It might be.
Yep.
So we'll see.
We will.
So, we are going to call that an episode. Emma, where can the people find you?
You can find me all over the internet at Emma Fyffe. It's my name. You can also find me on a bunch of shows here at AfterBuzz TV. Stick around later tonight. I'm doing the Bob's Burgers after show. Still on Tuesdays doing the Face Off after show. And on Wednesdays, starting this Wednesday, we'll be doing Star Wars Rebels, both Katie and I. And I'm really super excited.
Yeah. You can find Alexis on Twitter at atorres890. And I'm Katie Cullen. You can find me on Twitter, Tumblr, and Instagram at Kiaxet. That's Kiaxet. You can also find me on Snapchat at Kia Prime. And I am on so many of the shows, you guys. Minority Report, Blind Spot, Z Nation is really getting good this season. Oh my God. The Muppets. Arrow is back, and Star Wars is starting up this week, and Ruby is back, you guys. I am excited for everything.
October 24th. I can't wait.
Yes. So thank you guys so much for watching, and we will see you next time.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.